Hello, Hakora here. This video is going to be a quick breakdown in how to write a really good affidavit. There are a lot of different ways to write an affidavit. I don't want to go into too much variation because it gets really confusing. So I'll show you the two sort of main ways of doing one and the way that I like to write one. That's a personal thing, but it also depends on what you're using the affidavit for. I do really think that everyone really needs to know how to write an affidavit, and I don't think you'll actually do it, that you really get into the nuts and bolts of it, because it's it's an affidavit is your statement of fact. Okay, now I have not shown you, so there is a court form, like if you're going to court, like if you think it's going to be used for court and you want it to be involved in court, it's called a Form 22. That's for South Australia. They're available up on the magistrates' websites. You can download them. I don't personally use them because I'm not committing to their jurisdiction or their I just want anything to do with them, really. This is a template that's very similar to the ones the guys from the Rockhampton Study Group have shared. So those guys know who they are, and they've done some fantastic work. So again, we use the nice imperial seal affidavit at the top. That's all sort of embedded. This, for example, is a crest as a shield. It's the difference between a flag, coat of arms. It's the guys would have a shield on their horses, and so when I used to need to take a leak, if you put a flag on the ground, it's blasphemous, so you'd lean the shield up against the wall. I don't think it's necessarily for women, but anyway, here we go. This is written Jane Anne of the House Smith. It's posted to general deliveries to hide your own address. You know, especially if you're getting harassed by public servants, they can be quite violent. Military posting code in straight square brackets. It's got a reference number because it was posted. If you're just doing a statement that you don't know what you're going to use it for, you don't really need to put these numbers at the top. It's to Sergeant Aaron Minder. That's not his name. I'm being facetious. Doing business as SA Police with their ABN number. And this is a style that the people that are in favour of bringing this country back to a constitution and a Commonwealth kind of recognition, although asked me a year ago, would have said yes. Ask me now, I go, we don't have no Commonwealth, we don't have no constitution, nothing. We need to create something new, we need to blow the whole up. So it goes through these 10 dot points. You know, I'm not ignorant, belligerent, lunatic, porter, idiot, literate, it's all the sort of same. I find it just takes up too much paper and I don't use it. I just cut straight to the chase, which is kind of me, my style. In red is, you know, where you're going to change the details. Obviously, you're going to change it back to black before you print it. And then the following statement is against the plaintiff. So this has been specific against someone. Someone made a claim, you're going to counterclaim it. You know, it says where I'm living, on or near, don't, you know, because you're not actually at that. Where is that number? Is it the post box? Is it the whole property? You're not there all the time. So you're near it, aren't you? You're in that sort of location. And you're either going to swear on a Bible or you're going to declare. And you started with the first fact, which is your date of birth, that you're of sound mind. I mean, that's why you don't need to read that stuff above, because you're writing it in your first fact. And then your facts unfold. And so it's one fact, you know, per section. Don't get it too clouded. Keep it very simple. Don't go into controversy. Don't go into he said, she said. Just state the facts, okay? So there were 11 facts that happened, and there's a closing declaration. And then if any of those facts have something, like for example, fact 4, the property is signposted with more than 3 no trespass notices on the front gates and on the main house and at all entry points. See Annexure X. So if you go down to Annexure X, these are all mixed up, right? So it's just a template. It would be the photographs as evidence of the photographs on the fence. So any time you make a claim, you've got to have the evidence attached. And so you will write a list of your annexures at the bottom of the document, and then you've done your affidavit, and then I will do a separate piece of paper with Annexure A and what the document is, and then there's the copy of the document. Then another piece of paper, Annexure B, what the document is, then the document. So each page has its own cover, right? So the JP is going to sign off on each of those pages, not on the evidence. He's going to sign off and he'll stamp every page. So lay it out on a table or a bed or floor or something so you can visually see where are you at. Okay, that one, A matches that one there. It's written at the bottom. There it is there. There's the printout. Boom. Next one, B. B's from that fact. There's it's listed at the bottom. Boom. Onto, and that's sort of a really good way to do it. Your annexures attachments will be different, obviously, to the samples listed above. Please ensure you put the correct references into your document in chronological order. Really make sure you get onto that. Right, so then there's that one. This is the one that I use, all right? So, I didn't put a logo up there. I kept it really simple. It's got affidavit written up there. The persons that you are sending it to who are kind of, these are the facts against this person. I've simply got my date on the right-hand side. All doing business for and on behalf of SA Police, ABN or SAPOL, Sergeant Aaron Minder, and there was a whole load of coppers that wouldn't identify themselves, which is highly against the law, right? So I've got all their numbers there. And then you've got Jane Ann of the Clan Smith on the right-hand side, living woman, deponent. The document is a matter of public record, overt, not private or covert, the people of the Commonwealth of Australia. So, you make your declaration as, I, Jane Ann Smith, currently domiciled near 24 Springfield Road, Blackburn South. It's not a real address. Have, currently and do solemnly and sincerely, blah, 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 and I'm doing mine in South Australia, right? So under penalty of perjury in this state of South Australia, I'm swearing in. Now, if you've done any research along this journey, you will know that all of our public servants, including those that sit in Parliament, are all on the wrong oath, right? Remember, they hijacked the country, 1966, they all resigned, they created their own little thing, it's a private corporation, they twisted out the Constitution, they wrote their own, and year by year it was taking one thing out, putting one thing in. So they removed the Queen, they removed the seals, they forged the seals in 72 to the High Court. Like, if you really want to hold them to it, you want to hold them to that oath. And I'll show you. So, first statement, I, Jane Ann Smith, currently domiciled near 24 Springfield Road, Blackburn South, what have you, and currently do solemnly and sincerely swear affairs and declare with good faith and without prejudice under penalty or perjury in the state. So this one, I'm just mixing it around here, obviously this would be where you live, whatever state you live in. All right, Victoria, let's get this down a little bit. According to the Oaths Act of 1855. That and any and all of the various papers, documents, adhesions, contracts or agreements I may have signed previously, knowingly or unknowingly, with any government agency or entity or any others that might be construed to indicate a conclusion contrary to my herein below asseverations, were made, signed by me on the basis of mistake due to a deliberate action of fraud, concealment of material fact, misrepresentation, duress and or intimidation. So anything you've been held to before, like my driver's license or this or that or whatever. Now, your first fact is, I was born on whatever date you were born. I am of the age of consent. I'm of sound mind and reason, and I do sincerely and honestly affirm the present instrument to be my own words, written by me, given freely without duress, and expressing accurately to the best of my ability the facts herein of which I have witnessed firsthand and have expert knowledge. Right, now this is how I lay my facts out. Is it not true that on approximately 5 a.m. on Wednesday the 30th of October, 3 armed, unknown men attended whatever address. They knocked loudly on the windows and doors and started a search of the yard with torches. They did not identify themselves. And fact 3, is it not true that the records show 3 armed men trespassing onto private property, failed to identify themselves, were verbally told more than 10 times to leave the private property as trespassers? They ignored those requests. See Annexure A. Now, this is all documented. So each fact starts with, is it not true? Because an affidavit is to be rebutted. These are my facts. You've arrested me and accused me of X, Y, and Z. These are my facts, right? Now rebut them, all right? So it's up to them to rebut them. Now, an affidavit that has not been rebutted stands in law as fact. 3 affidavits, that's it, law. 3 affidavits, so I will do like fresh ones each time. Is it not true that the records show? Is it not true? Is it not true that no proper presentment of warrant was made during the incident or evidence or proof of crime committed? Is it not true the respondents were armed and made threats of arrest, of hinder, after using their feet to block the closing of the gates? And so all the times you know, and so all the documents that they produce, everything, photos, video, and you can say Annexure C underneath, audio recording of what have you. All your facts, and then you finish off with a couple of these are sort of set. The affidavit must be rebutted point by point with specificity under penalty of perjury in South Australia within 7 days of this notice, or if you fail to respond within the given time frame, shall be taken that this matter is finalised and you are in agreement with the fee schedule to a point. Now, this is where I attach the fee schedule, because when they don't rebut it, they've automatically agreed to my fee schedule. Yeah. Now, all of these templates are all up on my website, officeofthepublicdefender.com.au, right? It's a bit of a mishmash, but you'll find them. And so I charge them for doing this, just like any other private corporation. Play the same game they're playing. All right? I'm a private person. I manage and own my corporate name, and I navigate as best I can in this world that is full of fraud and violence. So I've attached the fee schedule, which is Annexure F, and then a closing declaration. All of the facts and circumstances deposed herein are within my own knowledge and experts. To say the same thing over and over again. So there's all these variations on these closing facts, right? So they've still got to rebut it. And then the affidavit includes the following attachment. I know I speak quickly. You can slow me down, I think. I'm not sure. Annexure A, video evidence. Annexure B, photos as evidence of trespass signs. Annexure C, notice of motor vehicle impounding or clamping. That was yellow. Then there was a pink one. Then there's a fee schedule. Then I've got filing evidence under Crown jurisdiction. So that was reporting it up on the executiveorders.life website. And then my oath. Now, you can say to the public servants, are you under oath right now? You say yes, all right. Well, they're under the wrong oath, right? So you want to make sure you're under the correct oath, okay? So it finishes up with Jane Ann Smith, the undersigned, affiant, affirm, proclaim, and certify that I've written this affidavit. Same thing, I, living woman with all rights, I'm going to sign it. Leave that open for when you go to the JP. He's going to sign it there, right? So I've got care of Jane Ann Smith, Podiatry Limited, is showing you that I own my corporate name, and I want you to send it any rebuttals to general deliveries at the post office. I've got quite a good relationship with my post office. Anytime I go down there, and look, the pages are numbered, and then another crest, and I sign off as, well, I don't, but this is just a template, full column Jane-Ann, full column of the clan Smith, principal, executrix, beneficiary, and authorised representative for and of the Crown, copyright name, estate, letters, Jane Ann Smith, ens legis, and all derivatives thereof of the legal names. No assured value, no liability, and all errors and omissions accepted for value and all rights reserved. Without prejudice, without recourse, non-assumpsit, calls may be recorded. End of page. All right? So what I do with that one is I make sure that I'm under the right oath. Well, let's just make those changes. Here we go. Now, go back to your original state, to the original constitution. Now, the one for South Australia is, the original constitution's earlier than that, but the State of South Australia Oaths Act is 1936. Now, that is the seal that sits on our constitution. It's a cracker, isn't it? And this is the actual oath that has been lifted out of the 1834 constitution of my state. I, Jane Ann Doe, do swear that I shall faithfully, impartially, and honestly, according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and fulfil all the powers and duties of a commissioner, or colonial commissioner as the case may be, under an act passed in the 5th year of the reign of King William IV, intituled South Australia Act, Foundation Act 1834. So I just autograph my name, I get the Justice of the Peace to sign it. We've got the same little sign off there. You could probably just take that out and make it shorter so it's one page. I'll print that out and get a JP to sign it, and that will be attached to the affidavit, right? So get them signed at the same time. So that's really easy to create. You can just make them, right? So there's the logo there. That's what you're going to get out of the 1867 Oaths Act. So that's probably federal, I would say. And then this is just a really boring version. So you've got the original. Look at that poor lion. Looks like he's just been on a pee all night or something, doesn't he? Whew, like the unicorn. So that's the original seal. Oath, Constitution for South Australia, 1855, 1856, and you can lift it straight out of the original Constitution. If you go to Documenting Democracy, do a search for that. It will come up as finding.docs.gov.au, something like that, and all of the constitutions are up there. So that's it. That's an affidavit and an oath. And that's because they're all under the wrong oath. So you want them to be under the right oath, and then you've got them by the short and curlies. So there you go. I hope that helped. Let me know if you need other instruction. I'm busy, but I can always chuck in a little vid on instructions. Again, everything's up on the website. I dump to that site, so things are stored somewhere. So yeah, hope everyone's well. Talk to you soon.